Hey everybody, this is Ron Hirschman and welcome to Between the Lanes episode number 31. Ralph can't be here tonight, so I'll be doing the show solo tonight. So let's get started as we usually do with the race results on Between the Lanes. This is your winning report. We're going to start off internationally this week with Retro Tokyo at Cheerio Speedway in Tokyo, Japan. In the stock car class, Tibu was your winner with UG second and Oktani third. In the Can-Am class, it was Kamo winning with Tibu second, UG third. In the GTC Coupe class, Tibu was your winner, UG second, Kamo third. Then there was the Italian Masters in Tuscany, Italy. And in the Production 124th class, Paolo Trigilio was your winner, Recheck second, Garlic was third. And in the Open Group 12 class, Zelnicka won with Igneri second, and Recheck in third. And then that was your podium for the Eurosport 24th Italian Masters 2018. You see some photo bombing going on there behind Castriconi. And Western States Championship wing car race was at Buena Park Raceway last weekend in the Group F class, which used the Pro Slot FK motors, because there was some talk they was going to do two races, one with, I guess, Retro Hawk motors and one with FK motors, but they used the FK motors. And Eric was the winner. Jason Holmes was second. Sam Rackham was third. In 27 light, Al Chuck was the winner. Roy was second, and Sam was third. And in two-motor open, Al Chuck on the right there was the winner with Forrest Watcher second. James Grinstead was third, but was not around for the photo opportunity. The Pin Jersey NASCAR Series was at Trains and Lanes in Easton, Pennsylvania. And we don't have any pictures of podiums, but the Cup winner was Jerry Herbert, followed by Randy Core and Dale Granger. In the truck class, Jerry Herbert doubled up with another win. Adam Chaya was second, and Dave Brooks was third. And there's the results from the Cup race. And there's the results from the truck race. B&E Crosstown Challenge Series was at Chicagoland for their final race of that series. And in the Superstock class, Neil Eisler was the winner, Jim Kreider second, Ken Eisler in third. And in the Pony Stock class, which was on the King track, Neil Eisler was the winner again, with Jim Kreider second again, and Dave Goss was in third. And then in the series champions, Neil Eisler was the champion of the Chicagoland half of the series, with Jim Kreider in second and Ken Eisler in third. The American Womp Racing Association was at, gotta find my notes here, Uncle Charlie's Raceway down in Wilkesboro, North Carolina. In the Legends class, Daryl Jones was the winner. Charles Eldridge, the Leprechaun, was second, and Stu Martyr was third. And then in the Sportsman class, Charles was the winner, with Daryl second and Stu third again. The North versus South Rebel Series was at the Slot Car Track Concord. And I'm going to leave this picture up for the next three class results because it was pretty much the same podium. This is the Dirt Late Model podium. So Walker McNulty was the winner. Jeremy Burnett was second. Wayne Little was third. In LMP, it was the same finish. But in trucks, it changed up a little bit. Walker was the winner. Wayne was second. And Jeremy was third. And then in the 4-inch class, Walker won again, complete sweep. I guess that's why he was holding the broom in the Dirt Late Model race. Jeremy was second, and Walker's dad, Randy McNulty, was third place in the 4-inch stock car class. The USCA series was at Whiskers in Gladstone, Illinois. And in the IndyCar class, Bill Sabinek was your winner. Mark Barker was second. P.J. Baltz, the track owner, raceway owner, was third. 4.5-inch, Toby Kindig was the winner, with Bill in second, P.J. in third again. In Can-Am, P.J. was the winner. Congrats to P.J. Bill was second. Toby was third. And in the production class, Toby was the winner, with Bill in second, and Brian Rosenberg was third. The FNRS series was at the track raceway in South Bend, Indiana. And in the LMP class, J.P. Milcherska was your winner. Second and not pictured was Austin Milcherska, and third was John Miller. In the stock car class, John Miller was the winner. J.P. was second. Zach Woods third. In the GTP class, yours truly, Ron Hirschman, was the winner. Zach was second, and John Miller was third. And the big race of last weekend would have been the R4 race at Max Tom Thumb in Columbus, Ohio. Tom Thumb Hobbies. Hard to break the old school Max Tom Thumb. In the GTC amateur side of the class, Gil Pataki was your winner. Jason Dennis was second, and Joe Ligori was third. In the GTC Pro class, Willie Custer was your winner, Cap Henry second, and Will Brinkley was third. And they did use handout motors in the GTC classes. In the Can-Am class, Jimmy Williams was your winner, with Cap Henry second again, and Mike Raisin Garrett in third. And a note on that, fourth place went to Greg Fox. Cap and Jimmy were on the same lap, a section or so apart, and a couple laps back was Raisin and Greg on the same lap, but a section or so apart. So give a little bit of an honorable mention there to Greg Fox. He was close to a podium, came up a little short. In the F1 class, Jimmy Williams pulled it off again. Cap Henry was second again. And Ricky Bernardo was third. And Ricky was last year's R4 F1 champion. So the big news out of the R4 was the fact that Jimmy Williams won both Can-Am and F1. So a good job to Jimmy. And, he did really well against some very experienced R4 racers, especially Cap. And I think, I didn't look this up to make sure, but I'm pretty sure another piece of history was made by Cap Henry, who was second in all three classes. And I think that's the first time in the history of the R4 that one individual has finished second in all three races at the same R4. So congrats to Cap. I know he was looking for win number 10 and I guess 11 and 12, but he still stands at 9. And but sweeping the second place podium for the weekend, not a bad weekend. And I guess the good old, moments of the weekend was your Pro Coupe winner, Willie Custer, missing the main both in Can-Am and F1. I think that was a big shock to everybody. I think I probably expected Willie to be in that, and he didn't make the move up. So he was close, but no cigar. And that's your winner chicken dinner report. And if Ralph was here, he'd be telling us Sunday. And this weekend is the Outlaw Retro Motor Race at Buena Park Raceway. It's going to be the first time that they will use the Pro Slot FK motors in the Can-Am class and the F1 class. It's a non-SCRA sanctioned race. Jason Holmes and Jim Lang are putting that race on. So we'll have some report information on that next weekend. And, of course, this weekend, lots of races coming up. You got the BRS Retro being held at Downriver Speedway in Michigan, New England Retro Racing Association. You got the TSRA. You've got the OCC, the Ohio Challenge Cup in Washington, Pennsylvania. Mid-American Hardbody Series at Naperville. American Womp Racing Association has 2 events this weekend. One is at Thunder Road in Virginia, and the other one is at Vocal in San Diego, California. So lots of racing coming up this week, and we should have the results and the winners on the show next week. And always remember, slot car racing's fun for the whole family. Mother, dad, sis, and brother. I just kind of found this vintage old newspaper ad and floating around on Facebook the other day, and it's kind of nostalgic and cool. So there you go. And last week we talked about race track going in at a establishment called the Playhouse down in Georgia, and me and Ralph discussed the fact that neither one of us had ever seen this track. And a few minutes after the show aired last week, I got a call from Joe Ligori, one of the viewers, and Joe used to race down in Florida for a long time. And Joe says, "Well, that's the Gatorback track." And the Gatorback track was a one-off track built by Steve Ogilvie. And digging up some history, the Gatorback was originally at Coral Springs Raceway in Coral Springs, Florida, and found an old newspaper article about the raceway that was dated August 11th of 2000. So we know that the raceway, or this track, was built sometime in 1999 or early 2000. And it was in operation in Coral Springs for maybe a year or two, not exactly sure, but it was sold, and the track moved to Opie Slot Car Emporium, which was in Tequesta, Florida, and that's about an hour north from Coral Springs. And the best I could tell, Opie's was open by June of 2002, and the raceway was closed by September of 2004. And at Opie's, they had the Gatorback, and they also had a King track. And I do recall them having somewhat of a major wing car race, I'm going to say in 2003, or maybe it was 2004. And a lot of the big pros went down there and raced, and but the raceway was gone by September 2004. And then the Gatorback track surfaced on eBay for sale in June of 2016. So don't know if the current owners of the track bought it off of eBay or whatever, but we now know the Gatorback track is in place at the Playhouse down in Georgia. And Joe also gave a couple other tidbits because we weren't sure, but on the end of the track here that we can't see, there is a bank on the end of the track. Not a very big bank, not flat, not big banked, probably I would say semi-banked. And the cars, as you see them in the picture, actually are going in the wrong direction from the way they used to race on this track when it was at Opie's. So the cars would actually run away from the picture down the straightaway into what I would call kind of a carousel turn, kind of like through a little quick S and then up underneath the bridge. And then basically you're going to go this way and then down and around and under the bridge, up around here, through the little dog leg down to the bank, around the bank and back down the straightaway. So I guess it's one of those tracks you could probably run it either way. But Joe says he raced on it and the cars raced in the opposite direction. So there's what I know about this track. So, and then on social media, the following, since the last show, a lot of topics come up, but today the topic was the new Scorpion motor from Pro Slot. And the Scorpion motor is basically a Pro Slot FK motor, the 4002 FK motor, with an American-made replacement armature. And it comes sealed, and it's going to retail for $49. The motor is basically the same speed as a Pro Slot, current Pro Slot 4002 FK. So basically this motor is being made to be a competitive unit against the lower priced Pro Slot FK, but this has an American arm with the bigger comm and all the good stuff to make the motors more reliable and not so much faster. So look for that at your local raceway in the future. And another thing that came up was there was a kind of a discussion on one of the Facebook pages about hill climb tracks. And American Raceways made the original hill climb track, or what we know as a hill climb track. And American Raceway hill climbs had crossover turns, and you would come out of the bank and then do what we call the dead man, and you have a crossover section before you would go out to the finger turn, and then up to the 90, and the next two crossovers, and back to the top turn and down the top straightaway. So that is what an original and a true hill climb was and is. And then this is a picture of an American hill climb that's had the crossovers removed. But after, American went out of business, like we said, back in '67, and in the '80s, the modern track builders not only built king tracks, but they built hill climbs and oranges and everything else. So the majority of your hill climbs in that time period were built with a 90-degree turn, or maybe a 45-degree turn that went out to a 180 and then led to the top turn, which was 90 degrees, and then down the straightaway. And this is another picture of what you would call a modern hill climb. I don't know exactly what year this track would have been built, but you can see a 90 out to a 180 to a 90 and down the top straightaway. And then comes, well, before I get there, this was a track built by Chris Dadds in 1987, 1988. We called it a hill climb. Chris Dadds has referred to it as an Indy climb, but this was the first hill climb that I ever seen that had a donut on it. Because prior to that, and again, the modern track builders were building hill climbs with that 90-degree turn at the end of the bottom straightaway. So Chris Dadds built this track for many Indy hobbies down in Indianapolis. The room was pretty narrow. It was kind of built to fit the room. And instead of having a 90 and out to a 180 up to a 90, they built this track with a donut. And I believe it was mainly to save space more than anything. So then came the grandstand track, which a grandstand track is similar to a hill climb, but generally a grandstand track, the top straightaway is offset from the bottom straightaway, which means the bottom straightaway is more exposed versus the bottom straight and the top straight directly over one another. They're kind of offset. So this is we always call this the hill climb. This is the track at the track raceway in South Bend before it was reconditioned by Girding. And this track was built by Ogilvy, and Ogilvy branded it and called it a grandstand track. But we refer to it as the hill climb. So this grandstand, again, now this is a better picture because you can see the offset of the top straightaway from the bottom straightaway. So this grandstand is at Lucky Bob's Raceway up by Milwaukee, Wisconsin. I've been there for many years. I've raced on the track. It's been a long time ago, but this is a grandstand, and some people refer to it as a hill climb. But again, the top straightaway is not directly over the bottom straightaway. And then it was mentioned that grandstands didn't have kinks, and the kink, or what we call a dog leg, is this little bend here going under the bridge into the donut. And I've seen grandstands with and without kinks. And I think the next picture, well, this picture here is an early Ogilvy hill climb, and this is a hill climb. And this hill climb is at Fast Eddie's down in Pinellas Park, Florida. And this track was built about 1992, I believe. It was originally in Bedford, Ohio. And during my time at Parma, it was a track that I did a lot of testing of new products and stuff on. So, again, hill climb, top straightaway directly over the bottom straightaway. We have a little, not quite a 90, more like a 45-degree turn that goes short straightaway under the bridge into the donut. Now, this is a picture of a grandstand. This grandstand is at Fast Eddie's Raceway, and if you notice on this grandstand, there is no kink. You come down that bottom straightaway straight into the donut, up to the top turn, and down the top straightaway through the bank, down to the dead man, then out to the finger. This is a grandstand. This was built by Ogilvy. This used to be in Illinois. This was, can't remember the gentleman's name. I don't know why I can't remember it, but it was built for his raceway. It was up and running for a year or so. This track then went to Fort Wayne, Indiana. It was in operation at Turn 1. It was in the Glenbrook Shopping Mall. And then it wound up going down to Fast Eddie's at Richmond, Indiana, where it resides today. And then you have your Kingleman track, which is similar to a grandstand, except the difference is the straightaway is on the other side of this would be like the top straightaway if it was a hill climb, and the bottom straightaway is here, but they're pretty much on the same level, and you get a little bit wider bank, and this would be a reverse Kingleman. And on Kinglemans, and I've only been on a few, they've always been straight into the donut, no kink or dog leg. So if you raised up this straightaway, this back straightaway, if you raised it up, you could almost call it a grandstand as well. But this is truly a Kingleman. So there's a little insight and information on grandstands and hill climbs, and it kind of gets confusing. They're all pretty much the same thing. It's just the difference is how that top straightaway are located in regards to the bottom straightaway. So wait, there's more. So on tonight's show, I can't keep calm. I'm giving away free stuff. We got some giveaways, and we'll do that here in a little bit. First giveaway is from JPM Performance, and JP at the race last weekend says, hey, I'll donate a Twister chassis kit to a lucky winner. Now, you're not going to get 10 chassis kits as pictured, but you get the general idea of what the chassis kit looks like. So when we do the drawing here in a few, one lucky winner will receive one of these kits from JP Milcherska and JPM Performance. And the second giveaway, actually two giveaways from Mid-America Products, Mid-America Raceway, Naperville, Illinois. We're going to give away a couple of drag chassis kits. And there's two of those that I'll be drawing for. So we'll have 3 lucky winners tonight on the show. And that's it, folks. That's kind of our insights and other stuff. We were going to talk about a couple other things if Ralph had been on the show tonight, but Ralph's not on the show tonight. So there's where we're at on that. So I'm sure several of you have noticed or maybe seen the race announcements for the 2018 Flexi Palooza race. It's going to be held at Downriver Speedway June 1st and 2nd. The race is being put on by Ernie Mazzetti. He's promoting the race. For Flexi cars, it's for LMP and GTP classes. Both classes will use handout motors. They're actually going to use the new Pro Slot Scorpion motor as the handout motor. The entry fee is a super deal. $60. It gets you a motor that retails for $49. Get you 2 pair of Alpha Wonder rubber tires, which that's the handout tire. The tires will be marked, as will the motors. So basically, everyone's going to be running the same tires, same motors. The motor also comes with an 11-tooth pinion that you'll have to run. So not only are you getting a $49 motor and you're getting $25 worth of tires for your $60, you're also going to get 2 clear bodies that retail for $12 a piece for each class. So you're getting like $87 retail, and that's really not counting the pinion. So let's just say you're getting like $90 worth of parts for $60, and that includes your entry fee to the race itself. So there will be a practice fee on Friday, the day prior to the racing, and so it's quite a bargain. So basically, I mean, you're going to show up with your cars, and Ernie's going to mail the bodies out after everyone's pre-registered. He'll mail the bodies out. The bodies that you get will be either embossed or marked with a decal that's non-removable. And if you figure out a way to remove the decal, you won't be able to run the body. So this is ensure everybody's running the same body, same thickness body. Of course, racers are free to paint those bodies any way they'd like, as well as mount them any way they like on their chassis. And so you're basically going to show up at the race with your car and your bodies, and then you will receive your tires and motor along with the pinion at the race. And you'll have to basically put the motor in your car and true your tires up and then start practicing and tuning your car in. Or if you come a day early, you could use like a Pro Slot FK motor geared with an 11-tooth pinion and buy your own tires of the same type or close and do some pre-race testing before you get your parts. And the same with bodies. You could buy extra bodies prior to the race to practice with, so you don't have to practice your race bodies and take the chance of getting them torn up. So that race is June 1st and 2nd. Seems to be a lot of interest in it already. And as I always say, time will tell as to how many there are. But the race will be limited to 64 drivers per class. And I believe, I don't have notes in front of me, but I believe the pre-registration opens on April 12th. And you get signed up and pay your entry fees, and you're locked in. If you don't pay your entry fees by the cutoff date, you will lose your place in that lineup of drivers. So guys are already making hotel reservations, and a couple guys are looking into air flights there's guys coming in from all over the country for this one, it seems. So time will tell, but it's going to be a good event. It's going to be, I guess, an equal event. It's going to come down to the guys who drive the best and prep the best and set up the best and have some luck. So I think it'll be, under this format, it'll be more competitive, and I think more guys will have a chance, or a good chance, at not just winning, but finishing in the top tiers of the race. So, and I'm sure we'll have more info on future shows here with updated information as time goes on. So, the next big retro race coming up will be the Retro All-Stars and Invitational races. Those will be held on May 5th. Can-Am and F1 at Fast Tracks in Fremont, Ohio on the 95-foot American Black Track. And on Friday night prior, there will be a retro stock car race on the oval track there at Fast Tracks. So that's coming up May 5th, and should be a good event. So without Ralph here, I don't really have any more topics to really talk about or bounce things off of Ralph and get his opinion and get some banter going back and forth with him. So this is going to be a short show tonight, guys, and we'll be back next week with episode 32, and Ralph should be back. And before we go, we're gonna draw for the. Going to take the drawing now for the JPM Twister chassis. We got all the names in here. So well, I'm going to lose some of the names if I'm not careful, but I've got one. And the winner is Sean Naughton. That's the JPM chassis winner, Sean Naughton. You need to get a hold of JP Milcherska. Probably on Facebook. He's also got a page on there, JPM Performance, and just PM him, message him your address, mailing address, and he'll get that chassis out to you. And now we're going to do one of the Mid-America drag chassis, and the first winner is Merrill Todd. So Merrill Todd, I know he watches every week. Get a hold of Roger at Mid-America Hobbies, Naperville. Get him your address. He'll mail you that drag chassis kit. I know you kind of faddle and drag racing from time to time, so maybe you can use that. And the next one, I got two here, I think. All right. The next winner is Benny, and I don't know how to say Benny's last name. I'm going to say Benties. He races in South Bend at the track and Thaser Raceway. So Benny, get a hold of Roger at Mid-America and get your drag chassis. Don't know what you're going to do with it because you don't drag race, and there's no drag racing or drag strip up there, but we don't separate these by what we're giving away. So Benny got him a chassis kit. So that's all I got for this week. Like I said, we'll see you next week, episode 32. Ralph will be back. And the secret word this week is hill climb, because we talked about the hill climb track. So hill climb is the secret word. See you next week, and I'm out of here.